Everything is set up, everything is wonderful, and as a result, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring you, and I would like to hear some sound for this fellow coming over from Sweden, of course. It is the mighty Mouse Sports Thorzain. Oh yes, and he's in the red trunks playing Terran to the east of this particular map versus his opponent, all the way from the Ukraine, coming in very, very late last night via special taxi. It is Thermaltake Esports Whitera.
And in these positions close by air, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some Warp Prism play almost straight away, especially against the kind of style we see from Thorzain. He basically fast expands on almost every single map, no matter what it is, and he somehow, some way defends against aggression. He's so good at defending against aggression, and the previous metagame was always the Protoss player being aggressive against Terran and Terran holding them winning.
Yep.
So we'll have to see what will happen here, but I know Whitera does like to go for a very fast robo into a 4-gate Warp Prism attack. We'll have to see, does he decide to do that? On the other hand, does Thorzain take gas or does he not?
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what he decides to do here, having lost that game against Bling, and does he alter his style? The Ghost timing attack, for instance, in Game 2 versus Bling, it does seem slightly gimmicky. Yes, it is effective, but it's not standard, and really, he's got to be extremely careful mucking about against a player of Whitera's caliber. I expect Thorzain to play much more straight up this time around, and also to be very careful not to allow hidden bases and things like that. Admittedly, taking a fast third on this map can be a little tricky. Not so much for Protoss as it is for Zerg, but we'll see. I think that Thorzain's going to keep a very close eye on what Whitera is up to.
And we can see that gas has not been taken here for Thorzain, so we are going to be seeing a very fast command center here. The other option, which is probably less likely to happen from Thorzain, is he throws down a couple more barracks, and you can have this Marine SCV all in, which is really good against a Protoss player that does not go for a double gas. And actually looking at this now, Whitera's taken out of gas already, and he's going to be expanding incredibly fast before the Cybin and Energy Core comes down. So it doesn't look like we are going to be seeing any Warp Prism play, any 4-gate Warp Prism at all. Just an incredibly greedy, fast pace here.
Yeah, interesting stuff, and Thorzain is trying to keep a very close eye on this. He wants to know, and of course he wants to
prevent it too. He's
yeah,
going to prevent it going down, which is annoying for Whitera here.
Yeah, extremely so. Almost kind of surprised he didn't try to throw down an engineering bay just to at least block that and then quickly leave before his SCV died. But it doesn't really matter. He is aware of what's going on there. And the Cybernex core down for Whitera as well at the appropriate time. Thorzain can hop out of there. He just need to be a little bit careful not to lose that SCV, but there you go. It's actually, no, never mind. It might end up getting poked by that probe, and down it goes. But he is aware of what's there, and in the meantime, Thorzain has expanded, is now finally taking double gas on his main.
And the double barracks play here from Thorzain usually likes to go 3 barracks, but instead he's gone for 2, and getting the refineries a lot faster here. This is basically going to open him to a really faster timing, depending on how he wants to do it. Does he want to get a faster factory down, or does he want to throw down potentially a Ghost Academy and go for a timing like that? There's pretty much 2 options, but he is cutting corners a little bit, knowing that his opponent isn't going to have many units because he's gone for such a fast Nexus that he can afford not to get a 3rd barracks here to get that tech out faster.
Yep, there's no real reason for any Marines to be lost here, honestly, but the probe does come in and assassinates one. The second one gets sliced to pieces. Whitera with a nice little maneuver there. The bunker is now complete, so that Zealot is dead, as you can see, and not a huge amount of damage really done on either side. At this stage of the game, it is expected that the Protoss will have a lead in terms of worker count, which they of course do, but the Mules will start to make up for that now as double orbital commands come into play.
And builds can be so looked at so simply. 2 barracks, double gas, that's it. But you have, with Thorzain, he does it so tightly. Like 2 in gas, for example. Yeah. And he's doing that simply so he can get a 3rd barracks up. And more importantly, can also start to throw down an early engineering bay so that he can start his upgrades as well. So very smart. That's the thing about Thorzain, which probably makes him one of the best players in the world. But actually, that Stalker is going to get taken out as the Marauder pops out. But the thing that makes Thorzain so good at the game is his builds are so precise, down to the wire, every single unit. And I think that Stalker did not see the third barracks been put down either, so doesn't know too much about anything at the moment.
No, it didn't get any information there whatsoever. It wasn't aware of what was going on. Whitera's going to have a guess at that. And the precision of Thorzain's build is where a lot of players can fall flat. They'll perhaps overthink, thinking, oh, Thorzain is extremely precise. Can I predict what he's going to do? Overthink that and then end up slipping up because their prediction is incorrect.
And here comes that Warp Prism, as Whitera is so known for doing. He is going to be doing it with a bit of a 4-gate too, obviously a later 4-gate. We'll want to try to do some damage into the main, but he has to be so careful as Stim is so close to finishing now. It's literally only 1 minute away, and getting the Warp Prism out, the Stim will finish after the Warp Prism arrives, but he may lose everything if he's not careful. Meanwhile, the Ghost Academy has been thrown down now for Thorzain, so he's literally going to defend against this Warp Prism if he's still in his main base, and he could go for an incredible strong timing attack to counter this.
Yes, he could. Whitera's going to hold up as well, perhaps waiting to fill that full of Zealots, going for the big warp in, and he will be able to warp in at least 4 more to back that one up, and that's going to be quite strong. But I am still worried. As you said, Stim is about to finish. This needs to strike now in order to do real damage before Stim comes out. That's still a lot of Zealots invested, and he's got to do the damage to make this worthwhile. And he's dropping now directly on top of Stim Force. It's not quite finished yet. He needs to warp in immediately. He's not doing a huge amount of damage with this, unfortunately. It has now been crushed. And
Stim is finished, but the Warp Prism's going to get away. But as you're saying, we're going to say
that
didn't
work
do enough.
At all, no.
I mean, he literally killed a single SCV there. Not good at all. And he's returned home and going to do it again. But this time Stim has finished. But the thing is, Thorzain is not expecting this to come again. He's expecting, all right, failed one time, he shouldn't do it again. So he actually doesn't have anything in the main base whatsoever, and is pushing out with this Ghost timing attack, which I feel may kill Whitera.
It certainly very well could, and he's decided that he wants to just go for it. I don't really blame him. He was able to clean that up without a massive amount of damage, and he's even got an SCV at the back there that's able to keep an eye on this upgrade right here, probably expecting the Zealot charge.
Oh.
And he gets a big EMP, it's huge, and almost everything losing their shields right there. Straight into the middle line, Warpit's coming out of there, and Thorzain need to go to, of course, be extremely careful here. Ghost has been crushed in the center there, but there is one at the back as well. A little bit of micro going on, and pulling all of the probes in order to make this happen, bringing in the Warp Prism as well, which is not going to do anything. That's now been cleaned up there by Whitera. How much was lost? 15 workers killed there by Thorzain. Fairly significant. Now, the question is, was that as effective as you thought it would be? Well,
definitely, because he's killed 15 probes. The little Warp Prism harassment did kill a few probes the second time around, managing to kill 6 the second time around, but 15, that's incredible. It's pushed him so far ahead now. He's taken the third base as well. Thorzain's looking in good shape. Whitera's equally going to take a third base very, very soon, but he's also thrown down that Templar Archives incredibly early as well. We'll want to start to research Storm soon as well, use Archons if need be, but the Warp Prism is on the move again. It's going to be so close. It's going to go for a third base, but looking to attack the natural probably.
Yep, the Zealot is having a really unfortunate time of things in the middle of the map. It is now down, no doubt, and another Zealot drops in to try and perhaps assassinate that Marauder. He's going to hop over from the gold, see what he can do here. He can delay this command center, always very, very nice to do, and dropping charging Zealots, even more effective. It's looking quite nice for Whitera at the moment. He has taken significant economic damage. He's looking to try and return the favor. Not able to do so at the moment, though. Thorzain actively defending, but he can't deal with the Warp Prism yet.
And Thorzain is now going to get the star put up very, very shortly. Doesn't want to start producing these medevacs as he is stimming rather a lot at this current point in time. He's getting a second engineering bay as well, really working on those upgrades. You have to try and keep ahead of Protoss. Currently he is, because we only have a single forge, surprisingly, for Whitera just now starting the +1 armor. But that's always good to be ahead, because with Chrono Boost, the upgrades come out so incredibly fast. You have to try to take an advantage and then try to get them up.
Here comes the charge right now, trying to clean up those forces in the middle and bringing a few friends along for the party. And the question is, will he be able to get in there? It's quick stim to get the hell out of there. I think not. And Whitera not able to catch them out. A surround would have been wonderful, but it just wasn't to be.
And now Storm is near completion. We do have 4 High Templar going to be used to save energy right now. And that's another thing I've noticed Whitera doing a lot of the time. He will place these High Templar into the Warp Prism, as we can see now. And basically that would neglect the EMP. Therefore, he's going to be able to continue to Storm throughout any engagement, any battle. What he can also do with this Warp Prism as well is drop Storm. It's a very, very risky, but obviously a high reward kind of build, or not rebuild, sorry, rather strategy.
Yep.
And he may try to do that, but more importantly, we'll definitely want to use it in the army for sure.
Yeah, that is a very expensive piece of flying equipment that's coming through the air right now. 4 High Templar plus, of course, the cost of a Warp Prism. It can be extremely rewarding, as you pointed out. A Storm Drop into that, for instance, would be absolutely devastating. But of course, if it gets sniped off before that happens, Whiterot's got to be really careful with moving this extremely cautiously. Interesting decision by Thorzain right now.
I know he's moving out to go kill the rocks at the same time. The Observer sees the army moving out, so Whiterot is going to go for it. He's going to try and storm every single SCV. If he kills all these, Thorzain's economy...
Oh, wow, that's a massive storm right there. It didn't get all of them, but it was effective nonetheless. That takes him now to 14 workers killed. Thorzain responding lightning fast and is able to save most of the mules as well.
Manages to lose 6 SCVs there, so a good trade for a little bit of energy. Only a single secondary storm actually used there, so that's not too bad for Whiterot. Meanwhile, though, the army of Thorzain is getting pretty strong right now. It's going so far ahead in upgrades. 1-1 is about to finish, 2-1 it's on its way, and more Zealots being walked in. Oh my god, that High Templar, if that was to get sniped by these running Ghosts and Marines...
That would be disastrous right there. In comes the feedback, he takes it out, massive storm right there, and he saves most of the High Templar in the process. A lot of damage done, another feedback.
Okay, Vikings, hello.
Yep, drop them right now. There you go, and 3 High Templar saved, and hey, friendly Archon time. I don't think this is going to work, honestly.
No. It's not going to work out too well, but look at all these Zealots running down now. They're trying to catch this army off guard, and he's going to launch himself onto the gold base. It is an orbital command, not a planetary fortress, and Thorzain's army is not in position and ready to take this fight.
Oh, wow, very nicely played there by Whiterot, exploiting the weaknesses of Thorzain extremely effectively. That gold mineral line is sliced to pieces. Thorzain tries to evacuate as many SCVs as he can, but Whiterot with firm map control at the moment. In the meantime, there is a drop coming in on the gold base, and Whiterot is going to be caught out of position here as well.
Yeah, Whiterot is... Oh, is he warped in recently? I don't think he's able to warp in, actually, so he's able to warp in a few units now. But these units are at 2-1 very, very shortly, and you're going to clean up these Zealots nice and easy, forcing Whiterot to kind of react to it and adapt. He's going to have to come home to help clean this up.
Yep, that will not be good enough, especially against that many Marauders. Very easily kited. Thorzain with good harassment here. He would love to be able to take this gold base out, but that's not going to happen. Whiterot will be able to get there before that dies. More warp-ins coming in simply to absorb just a little bit more fire. And once we get the chance, maybe right now, we can see that's the workers killed. Extremely even.
And we do have the Colossus switch happening now as well. The Robotics Bay down and researching the Thermal Lance. And the second Forge finally down for Whiterot. Needs to catch up in upgrades for sure. And let's have a look at the unit tab. Only a single Viking out right now, and he's not really expecting anything to come out from these Colossus.
Yeah, the second drop coming in, but there are plenty of Zealots to easily clean that one up without too much of a problem. A couple of Archons in the mix there as well. And the current stalemate is interesting, honestly. We can look at the state of the economy. They're both on 3 bases right there. Thorzain having to re-expand, however. He's been stopped from mining from this gold for a significant amount of time, to the point where he's actually not landing the base in his long-distance mining.
Yeah, it's a pretty big mistake there from Thorzain, as he does correct it up himself. But look how many Zealots there are. There's so 27 Zealots with +2 armor, 3 Archons, well, actually 5 Archons with the ones just being morphed now as well. There's a lot of units out there right now.
Yeah, quick attempt on the drop to try and assassinate the Forge. Not going to happen. I'm not really sure if you can actually assassinate an inanimate object, but you can now, as far as I'm concerned. Now, Whiterot taking control of the center once again. Extended Thermal Lance about to finish. Whiterot's being quite slow on the attack upgrades, but those Zealots are extremely durable at the moment.
Thorzain just needs to hold on, okay? If he can hold on for another 2 minutes or so, he's going to be in great position, especially while dropping this gold base over and over and over, and he's going to be able to lift up and take off easily. He's on 4 bases. He's got a good economy. He needs to get Vikings into his mix, though. He's so ghost heavy, incredibly ghost heavy, but he's got nothing to actually deal with Colossus right now. There's 2 Colossus, a third one is on the way and about to finish very, very shortly. And actually there is a third one out in the middle of the map, a 4th one on the way. And in the unit tab, there are only 3 Vikings, a 4th one in production. There's not actually, he's building a second star put it, but it's so late. To be honest, if Whiterot is to go now, before Thorzain actually starts to react to this army composition, Whiterot is in a fantastic position to take a fight.
I really think he should as well. He honestly should. I think he's just waiting for 200, honestly, by the looks of it, and he perhaps will wait for +1 as well. Things he could have started moving if he's waiting for +1 there on the timing. We've got yet another drop coming in from Thorzain. At this point, it's becoming more of a little bit of an annoyance, honestly. He's lost most of the forces in the process. A simple warp in will clean that up. That said, he is now supply capped, so he can't do that. A few zealots moving in to clean up that drop. It has delayed this attack quite significantly, which I'm not really liking here from Whitera.
And yeah, he should be going very, very shortly. The Viking count is starting to get high, but there's just so many ghosts. Obviously, they want to try and EMP all the zealots and all the Archons, but these Colossus, a 4th one is coming now as well. I don't know, this is going to be so hard for Thorzain.
And crashing down, there's the EMP. Most of the Archons actually lose all of their shields there, but they're not target fired down. Holy hell! Thorzain, amazing EMP, snips through that, smashing that force to pieces.
Basically, the Zealots and the Archons were acting as shields there for the Colossus, and all of a sudden there was just literally too many EMPs and snipes as well, the most important thing there. And Thorzain managing to scrape through, and that was an incredible engagement actually for Thorzain, surprisingly, and I really didn't think that he would be able to do that, but that was excellent play from Thorzain there, and he's in a great position now because he's taken a 4th base. Whitera's still being harassed on that 3rd base, that gold base, is only now just gotten up his 4th base. The upgrade's currently 2-2 for Thorzain, and only 1-2 currently for Whitera, but is working on them.
Yeah, and a couple of Archons coming in. Was that a good engagement? That's more to the point. He does get a decent surround there. More snipes coming out to try and clean up those zealots. Significant damage being done to the bioforce of Thorzain right now, and it will live, but it did lose significant amounts of units, and that I have to wonder if this army is actually still viable.
Dude, these ghosts are so good, especially while sniping all these zealots. He's using them so efficiently, more than anybody I've actually ever seen in this matchup. EMPs, but not just only EMPs, the snipes over and over and over. And he's building 6 ghosts at one time. This is something I actually haven't tried before myself or seen. He's actually ghost heavy in this mix now while going Vikings, and I didn't even know ghosts could be this efficient. In that first initial engagement, I thought Thorzain was done for, but the use of ghosts are just crazy right now.
It really is. I mean, the EMPs were nice and effective, and everyone's known about the use of EMP in the TVP matchup since the end of time, but I think it's the amount of snipes that actually went off there as well, an ability that is commonly seen in the ZVT matchup. Dealing with those zealots so incredibly effectively that really turned that around and made the difference. The army just evaporated straight away, and that was very impressive indeed. Whitera is now on the back foot in that regard, and he does certainly have a higher worker count, but the army of Thorzain is scary, and it's well upgraded. Yeah,
it's about to be 3-3, and looking at Whitera's upgrades, he's only at 3 and 1 attack upgrade. +2 attack is about to finish, so Thorzain's going to be in a little bit of a lead. He's also working on ship weapons level 2 as well, so he can basically one-shot the Colossus. And he's taking all these expansions. He's getting personal cloaking as well, so he can actually get into better positions with these ghosts without being feedbacked. And another 5 ghosts in production. He's actually going to go up to 18 ghosts. And usually it's like, all right, versus High Templar, Zealot, Archon, that's great. But with Colossus as well, with the mix of the Vikings, he's just doing it so well. And I haven't seen anybody be so ghost heavy in this matchup for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about Whitera as well, just the complete lack of High Templar. He's morphed them into Archons. And obviously the whole feedback EMP dynamic is interesting, but I don't know if you can actually feedback that many ghosts. There's just so many of them. And I think we're about to see that happen. There is a force off to the side, so it looks like Whitera is trying to draw him into a trap of some sort. Oh, wow, the Colossus didn't even live. So many EMPs. Here comes the charge from the side right now, but I have to wonder if this is going to be enough. Thorzain taking a huge amount of damage. The Archons stay alive. Sniping is going on. Whitera let the crush it, but the Archons evaporate.
Wow, once again, there's literally no area of effect damage going down for Whitera. The Colossus died immediately. There is no way you can get storms off right now versus all these ghosts. And Thorzain smashes through here, trying to survive. This is still a best of 3 in the loser bracket. Does not want to go out of this tournament. A lot of money on the line. Qualification spots for IPL4. And Thorzain, these ghosts are regenerating energy incredibly fast right now. And they're at 3-3. They kill things so fast.
3-3 is just silly. I mean, against Zealots alone, just the damage that they do, just shooting is fine. The Archons sitting up there, but that was...
Wow.
Apparently Archons are made of toilet paper. GG, we just found that out.
Well played there by Whitera.